Betrayal is a wound that cuts deep, and sometimes it comes from the people we least expect. This is a story, not just of pain, but of healing, and a lesson I never saw coming. There was a time I believed that some friendships were unbreakable, that no matter what happened, some bonds could withstand any storm. That's what I thought about my friendship with Daniela. Daniela and I had been inseparable since childhood. We had grown up in the same neighborhood, attended the same church, and even shared dreams of starting a business together. If there was anyone I trusted, it was her. Our journey was full of laughter, plans, and unwavering loyalty, or so I thought. Then, something happened that startled me. It started subtly. Little things that didn't seem to matter at first, missed calls, unanswered messages, vague excuses when I asked if everything was okay. But then, the shift became undeniable. Friends we had in common began to treat me differently, almost cautiously. I couldn't shake the feeling that something was being whispered behind me. One evening, a close mutual friend hesitated before finally saying, "You need to be careful. Daniela's been saying things about you, things that aren't true." I felt my stomach drop. "What do you mean?" I asked, trying to keep my voice steady. She sighed, as if the weight of the truth was just as heavy for her. "She's been telling people you've been dishonest with the business funds, that you've been keeping money aside for yourself." I felt like the ground had been pulled from under me. I laughed nervously, expecting her to say it was a joke, but the serious look on her face told me otherwise. "That's not true," I protested. "Daniela knows me better than that." "I know," she said, "but some people believe her. And she's been meeting with others without you." Betrayal doesn't hit you all at once. It seeps in slowly, like a poison, until suddenly, you realize it has already taken hold. I tried to confront Daniela, but she avoided me. The pain of losing a trusted friend was one thing, but the damage to my reputation? That was worse. Clients started pulling out, friends became distant, and everything I had worked for started to crumble. Then, the final blow came. One of our largest investors, someone who had once been eager to support our vision, called me one evening. "I'm sorry," he said, "but I can't move forward with you anymore. I've heard things, and I just can't take the risk." I sat in silence, gripping the phone, my mind racing. My hands trembled as I put it down. That was it. Everything we had worked for was slipping away, and I didn't even know why Daniela would do this. For weeks, I wrestled with my emotions, anger, confusion, sadness. I wanted answers. I wanted justice. How could someone I considered a sister betray me like this? Then something happened. One night, I couldn't sleep. My mind was a battlefield of thoughts, revenge, anger, regret. I reached for the remote, not even sure what I was looking for on TV. And that's when I found a Christian station. The pastor was talking about forgiveness using this verse. "Do not repay evil for evil. Do not take revenge, my dear friends, but leave room for God's wrath, for it is written, 'It is mine to avenge. I will repay,' says the Lord." Romans 12 verse 19. It hit me like a wave. I had been so consumed by my pain that I had forgotten who my real defender was. The bitterness, the need for revenge. It wasn't hurting Daniela. It was hurting me. The next morning, I did something I never thought I would do. I prayed for Daniela. Not just a passing, empty prayer, but a real, intentional prayer. I asked God to heal me, to release me from the grip of resentment, to help me trust Him with justice. And slowly, day by day, the pain loosened its hold. Months later, Daniela and I crossed paths again. She looked different, tired, almost ashamed. She hesitated before speaking. "I need to talk to you." I braced myself, unsure of what to expect. "I was wrong," she admitted. "I let my own greed get in the way, and I hurt you. I don't deserve your forgiveness. But I'm sorry." At that moment, I realized something. I had already forgiven her. Not because she deserved it, but because God had set me free from the bitterness long before she even asked. Betrayal cuts deep because it comes from those we trust. But here's what I learned. Forgiveness isn't about excusing the wrong. It's about freeing yourself from its control. Jesus was betrayed by someone close to him, Judas, one of his own disciples. And yet, his response was one of grace and surrender to God's plan. So, how do we move forward when we've been betrayed? Acknowledge the pain. Forgiveness doesn't mean pretending it didn't happen. It means recognizing the hurt and surrendering it to God. Pray for strength. Forgiveness is impossible in human strength, but with God, all things are possible. Mark 10 verse 27. Trust God's justice. You don't have to seek revenge. God is the ultimate judge, and He will handle it. Romans 12 verse 19. Release the burden. Carrying bitterness won't fix the past. It will only steal your future. Maybe you're carrying the weight of betrayal right now. Maybe the wound is still fresh, and forgiveness feels impossible. But hear this. God doesn't just ask us to forgive. He gives us the strength to do it. If this message spoke to you, share it with someone who needs to hear it. And remember, you are not alone. God sees your pain, and He is your healer. Stay connected for more faith-filled stories.